Moonies! Welcome to the Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast. I'm your host, Victoria L. Johnson, and I'm here with Princess Weeks. She's the assistant editor for the Mary Sue, aka one of the best and most popular feminist geek sites, where Princess often writes about Sailor Moon. Speaking of Princess, she's also the co-host of the PBS series It's Lit, where she talks about literature, including Afrofuturist books and fan fiction, and she's working on a fiction novel about black witches. So, without further ado, welcome to the show, Princess.
Oh my god, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited. I am literally sitting here with my Sailor Mars phone case, and I have like a Sailor Moon poster right in front of me. So I'm all moonied up.
I love it. You just have like the magical girl like essence flowing around you right now. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Yeah, I have a Sailor Moon keychain next to me, and I feel like I don't have anything else Sailor Moon next to me. Like, I have my bookshelf, which has Sailor Moon stuff, but like not next to me. I need to change that.
Just look directly at Usagi for like power and good vibrations. That Cancer energy, just like, yes.
Yeah, so I have the background on my phone. That kind of counts, I think.
No, that counts.
That counts, yeah. All right. Anyway, so speaking of Sailor Moon, obviously, what was your first memory of watching Sailor Moon?
So I definitely remember watching the Deke and the Deke dub on television. I remember 4:00 and 4:30 were the days I had to get home to watch Sailor Moon. And I was obsessed. Like Sailor Moon Says, which was so silly and corny and so American, but I loved it. And it was like a show that meant so much to me that my parents knew that they could punish me by telling me I couldn't watch it. So it feels like it's always been with me. I don't think I have a time in my life where I didn't love Sailor Moon in some way.
Yeah, I think definitely. And I always made that joke in my head too with the Deke, because it's so close.
Right? Like, what is it?
That's crazy though. Did your parents ever punish you by telling you couldn't watch Sailor Moon?
They would. If I didn't finish my homework, I couldn't watch it. So I like always sped through it so I could watch Sailor Moon. And if I wanted to like get anything, they always knew. Like we went to Blockbuster, had to rent a Sailor Moon tape. We went out to go to the toy store, had to get a Sailor Moon. Like remember those Sailor Moon trading card game? Like I have a whole bunch of those. Like I had to have it. So they knew that if I was misbehaving, I could not have my Sailor Moon thing.
Oh my god, yeah, my brother actually got me the trading cards when I was younger, and I still have them. They were still like my favorite thing ever.
They're so cool. I love the designs on them, and I remember I was so happy because I had like the evil Prince Endymion one, or like Prince Darien, and like I don't know, like I love like Mamoru, but when he's like evil, he's like extra like yes. So I was very happy to have that card.
I agree. For some reason, he just gets a little bit more interesting and like hunkier. But yeah, maybe it's because he doesn't have to be saved all the time.
Right.
I don't know.
He's like the ultimate. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go. He's the ultimate.
He's the ultimate like supporting partner, you know what I mean? Like he, especially in the manga where it's like he doesn't really save Usagi at all that much, so he just gets to be like a supportive, he has powers, but he really just stays home and watches the kids. So I'm like, that's the kind of energy that I need all my men to have.
I completely agree. Like, yes, like I got this. Like, I just need you to chill out. Like, make me feel better sometimes. Like, give me an encouraging speech.
Right.
And I'll be on my way to save the world. Yeah, I agree. I was asking, so how did you feel watching Sailor Moon?
I remember, so when I was a kid, I was a very like emotional crybaby who was bad at math. And so Usagi was an emotional crybaby who was bad at math, especially in the anime. And so I felt like, okay, if this person who is so average can also be like this special princess who's like a superhero, then I can be too. And like my name is Princess, so like instant connection there. And I think I was just really inspired by Usagi's kindness. I was really inspired by the friendships that she had. But I will say this, when I was younger, I definitely didn't love Usagi as much as I do now. But I realized that she was the one who was teaching me how to be, like, a better person, even though I didn't necessarily appreciate it at the time.
Nice. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So did you have a favorite Senshi then and a favorite Senshi now?
So Mars is my ride or die homegirl. Like that's Bae, that's it. Like I love Ray. She is still my favorite Senshi. Like that's why she's my phone case. I had like when they had those like Sailor Moon character books, I made sure I had hers because that was my favorite. So it was her, Pluto, and Usagi when I was a kid. And like now, like Ray is still the one that I will always identify as. Plus I'm an Aries, she's an Aries. We have that bond. But Usagi is the character that I know is like in my heart. Like when I think about what to do, I'm like, what would Usagi do?
Right. Yeah, that kind of brings me to the next question. So like you mentioned in your piece on the Mary Sue, it's why Sailor Moon still matters almost 30 years later. And you talk a little bit about how Sailor Galaxy, like, she basically kills everyone Serena or Usagi loves and the rest of the Earth, but Serena still chooses to, like, forgive her and kind of, like, still try to save her from chaos. Yeah, like, what did that moment mean to you?
It just was such a reminder of her kindness, her altruism. I think that even more so in the anime, because I think in the manga, Usagi's a little bit more ruthless. But in the anime, she always wanted to try and help people and empathize with people and bring out the best in them because a lot of her villains were hurting. And I think in the manga, there's a part where, like, you know, the chaos person is like, I sent all these people to you because they're all trying to be drawn to you. And I think she just saw them not as like heartless people, but people who were in pain, people who were lost, people who needed friendship. And I find that very uplifting because so easily in society, we're willing to like throw people out. We're so willing to ignore that. A lot of people act out of loneliness. Doesn't mean that everyone can be redeemed, but I think that Usagi always gave people the chance and understood that they were reacting to pain and not just inherently bad. And I think that when she shows that empathy for Galactica, that is what allows her to win, because then she shares her power and helps give Usagi that ultimate boost. Like, I think that Usagi is the ultimate heroine, ultimate hero, period, because she knows the importance of protecting everyone and seeing the good even in the darkness that is like all around us.
Right. Yeah, I think that was the first time I ever saw someone truly wholeheartedly forgive a villain. Like, despite them killing, like, everyone you love. Like, that just, like, baffled me and just, like, blew me away because, like, this happens in the final season. So, like, you've grown with these characters. You've been, you've fallen in love with them. Like, you care about them. Like, you know how much they care about each other. So when you see, like, she killed Darian, she killed all of her friends, she killed, like, her human parent, she kills her daughter, it's like, oh, this is, like, how could you forgive someone like that? And not only forgive them, but want to help them. And that's,
right.
Yeah, that was, huge. I completely agree. So I mentioned, like, the Mary Sue where you wrote the article. So now you're assistant editor there.
Yes.
That is so cool. It's one of my favorite sites.
Thank you. It honestly feels like a dream to be working there.
Yeah. So how did you end up working there? Like, tell me your journey.
Oh man, well, I got rejected like twice before. So
We've all been there, yeah.
So it was like a slow thing. Like when I graduated from getting my master's. I applied to a whole bunch of places, including the Mary Sue, and I didn't really get in then. But I just kept building my portfolio, still writing online. I had a YouTube channel, so I was still doing YouTube stuff, and I just kept on doing it. And I was working at a bookstore, and I quit my job because they fired my best friend, and I was like, if you go, I go. in true solidarity. So I was like, all right, like they fired my friend, or they let go of my friend. I'm like, all right, here's my like 3-week notice. I'm leaving. And so I applied to a bunch of different places, and like 2 weeks out, and I didn't have no job. And I was like, oh my God, I have to tell my mom that I don't have a job because I quit in solidarity with my best friend, like an 8-year-old. But it's like, and then I got a call back from the Mary Sue, and I was like, oh, it's time. And I did a video interview, and I was so nervous because my internet connection was trash, and I was like, oh my, it always is. And I was just like, oh my God. But I made sure I put my computer right in a spot where they could see all of my Funko Pops, so they could know I was a real one. Like, I'm here, and I only have girl Funko Pops. So I was like, listen, I'm all about the Mary Sues. And my interview went really well. And then they ended up hiring me, and I've been working there for like a little bit over 2 years now, I think. And
nice.
It's been so fulfilling because, you know, I have my master's degree in literary theory, but I've always wanted to work in pop culture. Like I've never wanted to be like an academic, even though I like academia. I always loved television and books and like different ways of telling stories. And so being able to work at a site like this that is like feminist leaning, that allows me to be very intersectional about, you know, being Black, being queer and everything, just means a lot to me. Like it's the best gig.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of best gigs, you also work for PBS, which I'm super jealous of because I was a PBS kid.
Yay!
How was that? How was working for PBS, which is like legendary? And also, how did the idea for It's Lit come about?
So I can't take credit for the creation of it because It's Lit was going on with Lindsay Ellis. She's a video essayist, and we are friends. And so she was working on the first season of the show, and they wanted to do a second season, and they wanted to bring in someone who had a master's degree in English. And ta-da! There I was, waiting in the wings, like I can use my degree, and that I'm still paying off, and so I helped write the grant episode, which was the Afrofuturism episode that I hosted for PBS, and it is like the best thing. Like I get to like write and create media about literature, which is like all a girl could want. Like I'm trying to get an episode about manga done, you know, just a, you know, spoiler alert, trying to do that. But just to be able to talk about literature, to like, especially talking about like Black topics, and be able to use certain words when communicating these things. Like I really wanted to make sure when we did the Afrofuturism episode to emphasize that like Afrofuturism is really about the diaspora. Like it's really about, you know, connecting those things together, the past, the future, and the present. It's not just like Africa plus science or like Africa plus fantasy, you know, which is like what a lot of people will just reduce it to, and that it's an aesthetic, and that it has a very big impact in music. It mostly comes from a lot of music stuff. So just being able to add that layers of authenticity, like even though, you know, everyone gets things wrong, but to be able to use the right words, to be able to like communicate, and to be able to be like a Black face talking about a Black topic, you know, especially because like, you know, I'm, you know, very visibly Black. I have my dreads, I have my tattoos, you know, like to be able to be loudly Black and work for PBS is like amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. And then you also did the show about fan fiction, I saw, which was cool because I think...
No, yeah, I co-hosted that episode.
Nice, yeah, you hosted the episode on fan fiction. And yeah, I thought it was cool just because I think fan fiction gets such a bad rap for like not being literature or not being like real fiction or whatever. But it's like, it's a legit craft. Like,
Yeah.
some fan fictions are really good.
Some of them are amazing. And I remember when I was going through a writing slump, I had like really bad writer's block. My therapist was like, why don't you read some of your old fan fiction? And I was like, girl, what? And I was like, do you even understand like what you're asking me to do?
Why would you open that Pandora's box? Yeah.
Girl, I was like, no. But then I was like, so when I was younger and I was a little like, you know, pain in the butt, I wrote like Twilight fan fiction because I hated Twilight, and I was like, I'm gonna fix it. So of course that led to me writing 3 different Twilight fan fictions, because that's how you fix something you quote unquote hate. But I went back and I was like rereading my old Twilight fan fiction, and I was like, man, this is good. I was like, wow, I really liked writing this. Like I would read it and like I could see the flaws. I was like, man, I was writing some really problematic female characters. Like, oh my God, this I wrote like a man. Like I was like, oh no. But I still enjoyed the process because it was so detached from like commercial writing. I was really writing it for the joy of writing it. And like when you read fanfic, you can very clearly see like this person was having fun.
Right. Yeah. It's so funny though when you said that, because, you know, I hear of like hate watching, and I feel like you like hate wrote.
Yeah. I was like, if only you had been like this, Stephanie Meyer. It was like, like I owe so much to that woman, because like Twilight, because I disliked it so much for like half legitimate reasons, half I was like an angsty, like nerdy vampire girl who was like, look at all these people trying to be vampire girls like me, how dare they? And so it was like, so I was like in this place where like I really, and I still do, I enjoy a lot of the mythology of Twilight. The writing is just bad. And so I was like, well, what if I like also had bad writing but like used the mythology? So it was a lot of fun to do, and like I look back at that time fondly.
That's awesome. And now you're writing your own novel. Well, another, I guess. Yeah, a novel.
Yes. It's been so fun working on that.
Yeah. What can you tell me about it?
So the novel is basically, it's about it's a historical fantasy about Black witches during the Jim Crow era. It's like half murder mystery, half like anthropological exploration of like Blackness and magic. And so the idea came in 2 parts. When I was in grad school, I did my thesis on colorism in fairy tales, mostly focusing on Snow White. And it really got me reading a lot of different folklore from all across the world, but I really got interested in different sort of like fairy tale or like folktale stories from like Africa and the diaspora and like the Americas. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting. So I had like put it in a box. And then I was rereading this book called Gun, Germs, and Steel by Jared Diamond. And it's all about like why certain civilizations progress the way they do, etc. And I really enjoyed it. And it got me thinking about like magic. I was like, how could you explain a world in which magic exists, but colonization still happened? And so it started off as that kind of concept of like, okay, what kind of magic would like the colonizers have versus like, you know, the different tribes. And so it started off as that, and slowly became like taking place in like 1950s Virginia in like this fictional island about this one tribe of witches that has like basically slowly been losing their magic. And when the daughter of the high priestess finds this dead body, she kind of gets engulfed in this murder mystery as she tries to figure out basically how to bring magic back, but figure out who is basically hunting members of her family.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Like, you had me at Black Witches and then said murder mystery, and I was like, okay, where can I pre-order?
Girl, when the revisions are done, I will let everybody know. I was like, it's been like a real labor of love, and like there's a lot of like magical girl elements that are like infused with it, because like, you know, I think the thing that I love to do is just like realize the stories that I really wanted to read as a teenager and as an adult still. And like, let me just write them. Let me just do the fun, you know, urban fantasy, black lead stuff and just kind of like, you know, make the art that you want to see basically. And so that's how this book idea sort of happened.
That's so cool. I'm so excited for this, and I hope when it comes out, you can come back and talk about it more.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Wait. One other thing. Will you have any Sailor Moon Easter eggs in there?
Oh, I already do. I've already like plotted out whole things. There will always be, so one of my things is like there will always be some sort of like magical girl element in every book that I write. So like the second book that I'm working on, which is not connected to this first one, has a lot of Sailor Moon in it. But this first one has a few like minor Sailor Moon Easter eggs, dress related especially because the gowns. But the second one that I'm working on has a lot of like dark Sailor Moon aspects to it.
I love it. That sounds just like everything I want in life. So thank you for writing it.
Oh my god, thank you for being excited. I'm going to tell my agent, like, you see, it's taking a while to finish it, but like people want it.
Yeah, there is a fan base, and the fan base is me.
That's all you need is one.
Right, yeah. Let her know. I will buy it like 10 times. So at least you got 10 sales already.
Yes.
And just like hand it out to people.
Have you read my manifesto?
Right. Exactly. I will be at Union Square once the quarantine is over, just handing this out to random people.
Oh yeah, do you live in New York?
It'll change your life. Yeah, I'm in
Me
Brooklyn.
too. Oh, me too.
Ooh, yay. So back to you. Oh, I guess we were talking about you, but back more to you. What would you say is the biggest way or item you've purchased to show your fandom? Like, I think my biggest nerdiest moment is when I wrote a list of 15 Sailor Moon spin-off ideas.
Ooh.
For CBR.
Oh, amazing. You have to share that with me. Can you tell me a few of them before I tell you mine?
Yeah, so one was a crossover with Power Rangers because, you know, it's somewhat inspired by Power Rangers or, you know, the original Power Rangers. Another was I really want to see someone to like write about what happens between like modern day Tokyo and Crystal Tokyo.
Ooh.
Because like something must have like Sailor Moon is basically like a regular person and then she becomes Queen of Earth and I'm like something happens, you know,
right,
between those two times. Yeah, like I need more. I need to know what happens here. Like, when did Japan go from a democracy to a monarchy, I guess it is?
Or
Earth goes to a monarchy?
Yeah, Earth, because like Japan already has a monarchy, so it'd be like, but she's like, but we're gonna expand.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, but yeah, so yeah, that was another one. I'm trying to think of what other ones. Oh, well, I guess this is more like animated. Like I would love to see a Sailor V animated short.
Oh yes, that'd be so good. Or like a movie, like an OVA. Yeah.
Because it was also a great manga and like it was the original, you know, before she launched Sailor Moon. So stuff like that, yeah. And it doesn't have to be something you wrote. It could be something you bought or something, or like a fan fiction you wrote. Or just something that was just like you went all in.
Oh
on your
no,
fandom.
I have the perfect thing. So I have a Sailor Moon tattoo on my arm.
Yeah.
So yeah. So basically, it's like, how big is it? It's like about a palm print, like a little bit bigger than my palm, and it is. It's sort of like half Full Metal Alchemisty because it has kind of like a kind of like alchemic outline. But so basically it's a bunch of circles, and inside of them are all of the symbols of the Sailor Scouts, like from their wands. Mm-hmm. And then in the middle there is a crescent moon. I will absolutely send you a picture of it, but it's like I got it when I was in Ireland. It was like $200 and something. I got it done by a woman, which felt really great. She was Brazilian. And it's gorgeous. It's huge. But yeah, so my biggest, I put Sailor Moon on my body.
Yeah, that is major. I've always said if I ever got a tattoo, it would be something Sailor Moon related. I feel like that is definitely the ultimate, like, fandom like thing you could do, is like getting something permanently on yourself. Yeah,
Absolutely. And I wanted to get something that wasn't just like the moon symbol or like her wand. I wanted something that was both like that you can't really tell what it is unless like you either really know Sailor Moon or I tell you. Because if you look at it, you just be like, oh, that's like a really cool tribal astrology, whatever tattoo. But it's like, nah, it's Sailor Moon. The real ones know.
and also that whole story was really cool. Like, you got a Sailor Moon tattoo in Ireland by a Brazilian woman. Like, that whole like sequence, it was just like, this is all awesome.
I know. And I am, when I finally do get to go to Japan, I do want to get another Sailor Moon tattoo. I want to get, because I have a copy of the final volume of the manga in Japanese. And so at the end, like the last thing that's said in the manga is that, you know, Mamoru says that Usagi is like the most beautiful shining star. So I want to get that line, like the kanji of it, on my arm.
Oh, that's gonna be so pretty.
I'm so excited about it.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you so much. You understand. That's like, it's like, oh, let me ask you a question though, because this is a real important one for me. Ooh. So there are a lot of people who ship Usagi with that Starlight person.
Seiya.
Yes, Seiya. I couldn't remember if it was Seiya or not. I was like, because I know there's a show called that. So, so how do you feel about that relationship? Because I am 1,050% Usagi and Mamoru, and I don't get the Seiya thing.
So, you know, it's funny. I'm with you on being like 1,050% on Usagi and Mamoru, but it had me shook, like, watching it, because like, I was just like, wait, like, that whole season, because, like, I'm totally, like, for them, like, they're destined to be together, like, I am all in, but, like, I think the combination of, like, her being, like, Mamoru, like, from her perspective, Mamoru ignoring her, even though he was, like, kidnapped, and, like, her, like, kind of yearning for him, and then just, like, this other guy, like, showing interest and, like, being willing to, like, be there for her and just like really like be in love with her, and it's just like, I never considered this possibility. And he's just like, I don't know, he cares about her, he wants to take care of her, like he's a good guy, or person, I should say, and yeah, so like it just, and they had chemistry sort of, like, it's honestly, which is kind of leads to the next thing, because I felt the same way with Buffy and Angel. But then Spike came along and I was like, this might work too, you know?
You know, you see, this is the thing. I have never, ever, ever, ever been into Spuffy. So I was just sitting here like, I don't know you. And the thing is, like, I do like Bangle, Buffy and Angel, but I also, I'm like, I'm not married to it. It's like, I don't mind if Yukagi goes out and gets hers. But like, especially in the manga, Seiya is so sort of like, if I remember correctly, it's just very unclear how interested she is versus how present he just seems to be. It's like, I feel like she kind of like stumbles into a relationship with Seiya, well, quote unquote relationship, because it's like they're just around, and I'm just like, but why are you here though? Like, she's married, they have a baby. Like, do not come. I was just like, who is this? I was just so upset.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I could totally see that. And I think it is partially like you feeling bad for him and like you kind of wanting to root for him, but also knowing that like it's not gonna happen probably. Because like there's that scene in the anime that like tore me up, because she's like fighting someone, I forgot who, and then you see like the rose come across the screen and you think Mamoru's back, and then it's Seiya. And then, you know, of course she like, Usagi breaks down because she's like, she thought he was back, like, you know, like she's been like holding all this pent-up emotion, and he goes up to her, and this is actually a controversial line because people say it's translated differently, but the one I saw, he said, am I not good enough? And it was just like, it kind of broke my heart, and because he like really loves her and wants to be with her, and she's like obviously still wants Mamoru. And he's just like, but I'm right here, you know. And it's like, oh,
I know, it's very
I'm
like
sorry.
The Notebook, but from the perspective of like the not is that the one who's James Marsden's character? Is that who that is?
Oh no, wait, The Notebook is what's his face? Is it not Ryan Reynolds, but the other
Ryan Gosling? Yeah,
Ryan Gosling.
yeah. Like Ryan Gosling is Mamoru, and James Marsden is Seiya, and like Rachel McAdams.
That is James Marsden. Yeah.
That's kind of the weird thing is like, and I think this happens even more so in the anime where they'll put in like all these like temporary Usagi love interests, and I'm just kind of like, get out of here! Like I don't know why y'all are trying to play. She has a husband. Like
she's taken. She's spoken for.
Like they have a child. Like I just think it's like too. I was like, I know people don't like Rini or Chibiusa, but I'm a Chibiusa apologist, so I'm like, they have a child. They have 3 cats. Get out. Stop trying to ruin my happy family.
I do say, like, I think if I knew who I married and met my future daughter with that person, it'd be hard for me to, like, have a relationship with someone else, because that would basically end her existence.
Basically. And it's so weird because it's like, I remember in like the anime, because like Prince Diamond is like there, and he's just like, he's really wanting, Serena Usagi real hard, and I'm like, bruh, it's not gonna happen. No. She has a husband. Like y'all need to let go.
No, that was like date rape. I don't think that was a thing. That was really bad.
But it was so weird because like in the anime, she like cries over him, and I'm like, girl, he molested you. Like, can you let him die?
Right.
She's compassionate, my queen. But I was just like, no, it's over. Like, he can go.
Yeah. By the way, you mentioned being a Chibiusa apologist, and I want to say I read your guide to the Sailor Moon movies, and I love the like little descriptions you gave for each of them. Where for like Sailor Moon R, you have in which we discover that Mamoru is queer and a power ballad saves the day. Sailor Moon S, in which we realize that Luna kind of wants to smash. Just so good. And then for Super S, you have in which we get a lot of Chibiusa content that I, even as a Chibiusa apologist, find tedious. Like, those are all so funny and so true.
Oh my god, yeah, I love Chibiusa. I get that she's annoying because like her role is so weird, but I think it comes from a difference between the anime and the manga, because I love both, but I do in the end prefer a lot of the manga seriousness and tone. But it really disturbs me sometimes in the anime how jealous Usagi is of her own child. I just was like, there's so many parts where she's just like, I know in the movie, there's a whole part where it's like, hey, just like leave her and we can just be together. I'm like, it's your child. I don't know what, like literally she's not even born yet. You two are gonna make her. Like, why are you so... It's you. She's named after you. It's so funny to me. And then Chibiusa in the anime is just like really extra Oedipal, or Electra, I guess is the female version. But she's like so into Mamoru, and I'm like, dude, why are you trying to break up your parents? I don't understand. Like, you will not be born. Yeah. It's so weird. But I do love her growth. I do think that like, especially in the manga, a lot of her purpose is trying to grow up and to be a more, because she's like a princess, it's her going out to try and be a hero in her own way. And so I really appreciate that aspect of her. And also the whole part about how like, she can't really grow up. And so she's been stunted in this place where she can't really be a woman. And I'm just like, oh, that's so interesting, because it's like she's just being infantilized so much that she just can't get to be who she wants to be. So I love her. That movie is a little bit tedious because it's like, all right, she loves a boy that's like trapped in something, or like has a weird, because like that guy in there and Pegasus had the same haircut, and I'm like, girl,
that
pick a man.
Gets me because like they looked alike, and then also I forgot his name. The villain in R looks like Alan from
from the
and I'm just like,
Fiore.
Yeah, Fiore. They look alike. So I'm like, what is going on here?
I know. I was like, that was recycled content. I'm like, are y'all the same species? Like, what's happening here?
That's what I resigned it to. I think they're the same species. I think that's the only thing that makes sense.
Sailor Moon R is popping. Like that season is so good, even though it's complete nonsense. It's like
I love it so much.
Like the drama of having these two twin aliens in love with these two dummies, and I'm just sitting here like, yeah, that ending, that arc season finale where they're like trapped in the tree and they're crying. I was like, the emotions.
Feels.
I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah. No, that was another moment for me too, where like learning that the tree needed love, and I was just like, blow my mind away.
I was like, yo, that's what's up. I was like, all you need to do is love each other, guys.
Right. It was so just like, that's a great thing I think about Sailor Moon so much. Like, it really shows you like love is the way, you know. It's just like really simple and like wholesome and just happy.
Sometimes you just gotta hug it out, you know? And it's so funny because Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball in general, does the same thing. Like, literally, Goku has never met a villain that he didn't want to make his best friend. So I'm like, this is just the way it is. Like, everyone just wants to be friends and just chill.
That's a really good point. Yeah, he just wants to fight them and be stronger than them. But he's like, I don't care if we don't have to like hate each other.
Yeah, it's like, we can be bros now. Like, you want to fight some more? It's like, whatever.
Right. Yeah. I think in the latest movie, he becomes like BFFs with, I forgot his name, but it starts with a G.
I didn't see the latest. I didn't see the newest movie. I had to catch up. My little short bae Vegeta.
Oh, Broly, duh.
Oh, bro. Oh, they become friends? Yeah. Look at that, gross.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert.
It's all right, girl.
Yeah.
It's Dragon Ball. I mean, it can only end one of two ways.
Right. That's true. Either you get defeated or you become Goku's friend.
Exactly. Death or friendship.
Right. That should be a t-shirt. Like, either you go or you become my friend. But so in the same piece though, you compare Dawn and Chibi Moon, which I thought was really clever because there's this whole Den of Geek article that, so this is actually the reason why I watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Because I saw this article and I didn't want to read it without watching Buffy because it compares Buffy and Sailor Moon and I wanted to get it without like getting spoilers. So I went through like all of Buffy and Angel just to read this article. So I
wow, that is dedication, girl.
Yeah. And so anyway, so I thought it was really cool because they make a really good points for it. So obviously they compare Buffy and Sailor Moon because they're like chosen ones, they're the protagonists, they're blonde, you know, blah blah blah. But then like they get better. Like they have Giles and Luna, which because they're like the like helper, you know, the side companion,
the guides, yeah.
The guides, and then also like Luna has like that British voice in the,
yes,
original dub, and then Angel and Tuxedo Mask, obviously, you know, love interest, destined to be together. So I'm just gonna scroll, but here's where it kind of gets like, okay, this is real because they have Willow and Sailor Mercury.
Yes,
you remember that. So obviously they're both like the computer whiz and like, you know, the smart one, but also like in the live action
PGSM
goes PGSM, she becomes Dark Mercury and Willow becomes Dark Willow.
That's it.
Which I was just like, what?
That's a deep thing. This person knew what they were talking about.
Exactly. I was just like, okay, this is good. And then they have Cordelia and Mars because they're like kind of like the nemesis, frenemies kind of thing. And then also like Mars kind of had a thing with like Mamoru for a bit. Like Cordelia and Angel had a thing.
Oh yeah, I was forgetting about that. Trash.
Yeah. I forget too. It went downhill from there. And then they had Venus and Kendra because like, you know, Venus was like also
because there was a Slayer before her, yeah.
Right, like kind of like, you know, that similar-ish, like kind of, but not really. And then they also had Greg and what's his name?
Chad.
No, so Greg in the anime in Sailor Moon who like had a crush on Amy.
Oh, right, her little boyfriend. Yes.
Yeah. And then I'm forgetting his name, but he was the werewolf in
Oz.
Buffy.
Oz.
Yes.
Yeah. Who I love.
So like me too. And like so obviously like Oz and Willow were together and Greg and Ami were kind of like a thing. And then also Greg becomes one of the rainbow crystal monsters.
Yes.
Oz becomes a werewolf. And it's just like this person was on it.
This post is legend. I'm like sitting here, I'm like, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want some more? There's
Yes,
like
give me
a few more.
Yeah,
Okay.
give it to me.
So they have Spike and Drusilla as Amy and Alan. I mean Alan and Anne. Sorry.
Yes, no. That's a fit.
Yeah. Anya as the Ayakashi sisters, which is like, Katsi and Prisma and
Yes, yes. Oh, that's a good one. Yes.
yeah. Faith as Sailor Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one's kind of like, they're both brunette.
Yeah.
Both fighters. Yeah.
I think honestly, if I was gonna pick someone, I feel like Faith is more Mars than Cordelia is. I feel like you actually know who Faith is? Faith is probably more like Uranus. Like, I know they're not like, they're probably thinking style. I think in terms of like temperament and like, I gotta get what I need to get done. Like, that's Faith. Like, Faith is like all the outer Shenshi all together.
That's true. She is more like, this needs to get done. Like, let's take care of business. Like, no, like, whatever, fluff.
Yeah, she's like hardcore. Yeah, but like also dark and mysterious, like the other scouts, like the outer scouts.
Right. And she does kind of seem a little bit more like, I don't want to say mature, but just like she knows more.
She seems like she's lived. You know what I mean? Like, she has that roughness to her.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. And then they also have Riley with Andrew / Matoki.
Okay.
Which I feel kind of makes
sense. That's a drag. Like, that's a drag, though.
It is a little bit.
Not right. Melvin? They should have put Melvin as Riley.
Oh, that's even worse.
That's true. Poor Molly.
I know. They just, they actually put, for Molly and Melvin, they put Xander, which I feel is kind of messed up, because he at least contributed.
No, that's rude. That's the one time I'll be rude. Like, no, that's rude. Molly never hurt nobody. Yeah. She never tried to date nobody that didn't want to date her. She had a man. What's his name? What was his? Nephlite? Ooh, that was also sad.
Oh yeah, Nephlite. That was really sad too. That hurt.
That was a powerful moment.
It was. That really hurt. Yeah. And then, so they have the First Slayer and Queen Serenity. Kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. They had Glory and Ben as the Sailor Starlights.
Okay. I think like Glory would be Sailor
Chaos.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. Could totally see that. I'm just scrolling down. I'm trying to like pick the best ones, and like they have the first Evil and Chaos. Makes sense. But yeah, there's a few. I'll send you the link. I'll also post it in the show notes, because it's like really, like, some of them it's just like, oh, this they went in, and they had the same as you put Dawn and Chibusa, which they go in onto, just because, like, you know how they're both kind of like appear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They're like, who is this person? You know, a lot of fans find both a little annoying.
Yeah.
It's
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
No, I feel bad for Dawn sometimes. But you know what it is, though? I always knew Dawn was going to show up when I started watching Buffy, because obviously, like, I'm only 28, so I didn't see it as it was coming out live. So when I watched the series on DVD, I always knew about Spike and Buffy being a thing. I knew that Willow was gay, so the first 3 seasons were a complete surprise to me. When I was like, why are you dating this man? And I knew that Dawn was, Buffy's sister. And also, it's Michelle Trachtenberg from Gossip Girl. And so when I started watching the show, I was like, so where's Dawn? Is she not here? And I was like, oh, she doesn't show up until later. And I was like, gasp.
Right.
I was shook. I was like, where is my girl going to come? I love Michelle Trachtenberg.
She is pretty great, yeah. I only went into Buffy knowing that Angel was a vampire and that Buffy was a slayer. So, like, everything surprised me. It was fun though. It was a fun ride.
That's great. I love Buffy. I mean, it obviously has its issues, but like it is fun and engaging, and like it still holds up overall. Like it has like 3 bad seasons, but the rest of it's pretty solid.
I agree. It is a solid show. Like it has some iconic episodes, and like it's a great story. And I also watched it late too because I am only 29. So yeah. Wait, no, I am 28. Sorry, I turned 29 next month.
Oh, Taurus?
May 19th.
Oh, so you are, what is after Taurus?
No, I'm Taurus.
Oh, you are a Taurus. Okay, I was like, is it?
Yeah.
Yay. I love Taurus.
Oh, that's what you said. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Taurus. Yeah, I'm actually 1 day shy of being a Gemini. So, like,
that's what the next thing is. Oh, yeah. Thank God. Yeah. I was like,
yeah.
Because, like, usually the 19th and the 20th are, like, usually where cutoffs happen. And you know what also is cool about a May 19th? It's the same birthday as Malcolm X.
It is. And Lorraine Hansberry.
Ooh, two Black icons.
Yeah, it makes me so happy because I love both of them.
I love that. I love when you have like a birthday and you're like, oh, I actually stand this person.
Right. Yeah. Wait, so I guess, well, we're recording on Princess's birthday, I should say. So happy birthday on air.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so who do I have?
Who do you have? Yeah.
Let me go on this Wikipedia. So I think the only person I think I actually like that I know of is like, I know Paul Rudd's birthday is today.
Nice.
So Stan Ageless White King. And
yes.
the Italian painter Raphael's birthday is this day, and I only care about that because Raphael is my favorite Ninja Turtle, so I think of it as his birthday.
I mean, it could be technically. I approve. I get that.
You know, it's like, why not?
Billy D. Williams also.
Oh, Billy D. Williams! Yay! Yeah. Oh, I love him.
Yeah, he's great.
Okay, I got one. Yeah, I was like, yes, I just want one Black person, please.
Right. I mean, you got, oh my God, I'm just forgetting everything right now.
No, it's fine. I'm also like, but it's always fun when it's like, Sequina Wallace, who was in Teen Wolf, and he was also in Once Upon a Time. Today's his birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Ooh.
His name is, he was really cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'm okay with that. I'll be special. One day I'll have my name on here and I'll be like, oh yeah, this is Princess's birthday.
Yeah, her birthday. Yeah, it will be that.
Yeah.
So now you have Lando, which is pretty dope.
I'll take that. An icon.
Yeah. Yes. An icon for sure. So we're talking about a few things. We talked about Buffy a little bit, just through like a Star Wars here. So funny enough, this episode will actually come out on May 4th, which is May the 4th be with you.
Oh, sick.
Obviously. Yes. So I know you're a Star Wars fan. How do you feel about the new trilogy, and like what's your favorite Star Wars movie, and just like give me something that you liked about Star Wars.
Okay. All right, I'll give you the tea, girl. Okay, so the sequel series is disappointing. It is overall trash, and it upset me because I came into this series to see my handsome friend John Boyega be a Jedi.
Yes.
Because that's what I came here for. And I did not come here to watch white people chase each other in the sand, which is what happened a lot in that last movie. Now, I still think the cast is really good. I respect them, but like that sequel trilogy is hella disappointing. Like, The Last Jedi is the best one in the trilogy for me. But I will say that my favorite character in Star Wars is Padme Amidala. Even though the acting is not good, Natalie Portman made that choice out of pettiness, and I respect that.
Wait, respect pettiness.
I respect a petty queen. And yes. I also feel like of all of the heroines of Star Wars, or like of like the trilogies, while she has her own problematic bits, I do think that her storyline is the most is I do feel like her character gets the most chances to shine as like a full person, like in the context of each film. Because I think with Leia, there's a lot of Carrie Fisher that made that character cool, but like she doesn't get to do as much as I would like, even with the sequel series, which is a bummer. And if I had to pick a favorite movie, it's probably like The Last Jedi is my favorite, then Empire, and then honestly at this point I have to say Rogue One.
Yeah. I think for me it's between Rogue One and Empire. But The Last Jedi was good too. But I was really disappointed that John Boyega did not become a Jedi. I really thought that's what it was going to be. I was like, oh, we here.
I know. Mm-hmm. It's like, I remember that trailer and you see his head pop out of his head. I was like, wait, are we going to be main characters now? And then you see him holding, like, in like the posters, he was holding a lightsaber. I'm like, he's going to be a Jedi. Nope. Yeah. I'm just sitting here like, I did not. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was like, I did not come, like, I appreciate Rey. I think that Daisy Ridley did as best of a job as she could, but I did not, another white brunette in Star Wars is not representation. Like, stop.
Yeah, I am so here for that. And also, like, I feel like it just would have been really cool to see someone on the dark side, like, come over and, like, become a Jedi. Like, that's a story.
Exactly. Especially with him having once been a stormtrooper, and the whole thing about them being like child slaves, like that's all very important. And like to have him be here and have him do that, like that would have been really powerful, but it just made the most stereotypical like choices. Like, ugh.
Yeah. And it would have like fueled the idea of like why he like was able to like kind of break out of his training. Like, like the Jedi powers or whatever. I don't know. I feel like there was a lot they could have went with that they didn't do.
Right. It's just disappointing because like Star Wars, like I do feel like Star Wars is very important to the culture. I enjoy a lot of things about it, but I also feel like it has been in the hands of people that don't really take advantage of the mythology, that it's just hard to like enjoy fully right now. In a couple years, give it some time if we're maybe less disappointed, maybe, but right now I'm like, all right, bring on the Star Trek.
Yeah, I'm here with you. I get it. What else do you stan? Like, I love Beyonce and Super Mario and obviously Sailor Moon.
I stan a lot, like I love the magical girl genre of anime, so I love like Revolutionary Girl Utena, Princess Tutu. I love She-Ra.
Yes.
Excuse me. I'm a DC stan, even though the movies aren't always great, but I love like Black Canary. I love Black Lightning. I just finished watching the 3rd season on Netflix, and it's just what a good show. I wish more people were watching it. It's the best Arrowverse show out there. And I love so Inuyasha is probably like one of my top favorite animes. So Lord Shishomaru, that's my husband forever. And girl, I have a poster of him too, like right in front of me. Just he's like growling at me. I'm like, I didn't do nothing. I cooked. Like it's good. Like it's fine. But yeah, so anime in general I stan. I had like my favorites, but like anime just means so much to me.
What other anime do you love? Well, you mentioned Inuyasha.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned a lot, actually.
No, I can go through some more. I love Inuyasha, Princess Tutu, Slayers is a lot of fun. Yu Yu Hakusho, obviously. Also, the mangaka is our girl's husband. So it's like, that's fire. I really love Cardcaptor Sakura. I really love... let's see, what else have I been watching recently that's new? I like Beastars, which I know has been like...
Me too!
That's the first dub I've watched in like, I would say like almost 10 years. Like I watched it all dubbed because I was like working. I'm like, let's just put on the dub and just watch it. And I was like, this is actually pretty good. So I really enjoyed it. I like marathoned it in like a day.
Me too. Yeah, I watched it just because like everyone kept talking about it, and I was like, let me see what this show is about. And I ended up binging all of it because it was just so good. And I also watched the dub because usually I'll like give the dub a chance, and then if it's really bad, I'll switch to the sub. Or sometimes I'll like try one of each and just see, which one is better. But yeah, it was so good. I really love that show.
It's so fun and it just goes places. I'm definitely gonna get the manga soon. Like,
Right. Yeah, I actually wanted to pick up the manga from where it leaves off because I'm like so curious about what's gonna happen, and I might like read it.
no, absolutely. I'm like so into it. And like I bought all of the what are they called? The Turf Wars, which is this the Legend of Korra spin-off comic because I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, and like Korrasami was like it for me, and I was just like, all right, are they gonna be gay in this? They are. Okay, so we are ordering, and they were all on Amazon for like $2.99 on Comixology. Now it's like iPad is plugged in.
It is charged.
It's time to go.
Yeah, I actually just bought an Avatar book too, or I checked it out from the library. Actually, I think is what I
Yes, support your local library.
Yes, Hoopla and Libby are like my like apps. But it's Kyoshi, The Rise of Kyoshi.
Oh, I have that book. Yes, I love it. Another gay icon.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she is amazing. I really want. That's another like series that can do a million spinoffs, and I would watch all of them.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of like, I'm glad they took a break because the first two seasons of Korra did not hit the same way. Mm-hmm. But I will say that if they did a Kyoshi spinoff, I would absolutely watch it.
Yeah, I would watch a spinoff. Someone mentioned this on Twitter, I think, where like they should do a show with like one episodes of each avatar.
Ooh, that'd be fire.
Right? Like one-offs. Like, I would watch that.
That'd be cute. That's actually, I feel, would be probably a better use of their time. Like, make them all like that Avatar episode in Korra that was like that really like 2D traditional animation.
Right.
That would be so fire.
I completely agree. And I would watch that for sure. And I like Dragon Prince. I don't know if you saw it.
I want to watch that. I haven't watched it yet.
It was pretty good. Like, it wasn't Avatar, but it was good. It was cute.
If you like Sailor Moon, you really need to, like, if you haven't watched it yet, She-Ra is doing it for the culture. Like, so hard.
I feel like if the original She-Ra was on more, I would have really loved it. And the new She-Ra, I like equally really like. I haven't finished it, but like every time I watch it, I'm like, this is close. Like, I like this. This gives me feels.
It gives me so many feels, and like I love Catra. Like, I haven't felt that way about a character like that since Azula. So I'm just sitting here like, yes, my self-destructive queen.
Yes. Okay. I love it. I am definitely going to catch up on that one day.
Yeah, there's so much to do. But when you get a chance, there it is.
Yes. Thank God for Netflix. So do you have any advice for anyone who wants to get into journalism or basically get paid to write about Sailor Moon and She-Ra and Avatar?
The best advice that I've learned from my friends who work in freelance, because that is one area that I am not as well versed in, but I do follow a lot of freelancers, is to really work on how you sell your pitches. Pitches are really important, and the more pitches you do, especially the places that pay for contributions, and I know that's hard to find, but when you do find them, knowing how to write a solid pitch, having an interesting angle, is the most important thing, and really build your social media platform, because unfortunately, like, and not unfortunately because there aren't great writers that have big followings on Twitter, but like having a significant following on Twitter does like help in some ways and making you more seen in general. So if you can just like find a way to cultivate your brand, know what your brand is, really work towards curating content and just, learning that delicate balance of being authentic, but being smart online is really important. And just like, again, knowing how to nail a really good pitch.
Yeah, Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. When I was freelancing more, I would like, if I had a pitch that worked and like I got the story sold, I would like copy and paste that into another email if I was pitching someone else. Like, okay, this worked. Clearly something, the way I worded this worked. And then I would like tweak that and obviously like change names and the idea, you know, when I was repitching, using it to pitch something else, just kind of like kept the same format. And then like once that worked again, I'm like, okay, copy and paste. It really works.
No, it's so true.
Yeah. So, and then you mentioned this before, but just like Sailor Moon had the Sailor Moon Says phrase or PSA at the end of every episode, what would your phrase be? Like Sailor Princess Says.
Honestly, I'm just thinking about today, and I'm just like, Sailor Princess says, Karen is not a slur.
I could just see like, did someone call you Karen today? Well, just remember, Karen is not a slur, guy.
That is not...
Right.
Do not compare Karen to a slur.
Right. It
Being called out for
400 years of slavery.
Exactly. Your privileged behavior does not equate you be calling this term a slur.
Right. It does not equate to 400 years of oppression. Just because
right.
Your feelings are a little hurt.
You know, it may suck to be you, but doesn't mean you're oppressed.
Right. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, that's my Sailor Says. I'm sticking to it. I was like, should I do something else? I'm like, no, it was great.
You want to? Okay, you can stick to it. That's
yeah.
Cool. Karen is not a slur. Got it.
Nailed it.
Facts. Yes. Yeah. And that's it. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh my god, this was so fun. This is the best birthday treat, honestly. Talking about Sailor Moon for like 45 minutes, can't beat it.
Absolutely agree. I would spend every day like this if I could. Well, where can people find you if they want to talk about Sailor Moon?
If you would love to talk to me about Sailor Moon and literally anything else, you can follow me at Weeks Princess, Weekes, Princess, on Twitter. And I also have an Instagram, which is just princess_weeks. So I try to keep it simple. And then also my writing is at the Mary Sue, and I write every day.
Ooh, awesome. And I am Victoria Johnson, aka Miss Old School, and you can find me at Miss Old School. It's Old School with a K on Twitter and Instagram. And then you can find the podcast, Sailor Moon Fan Club, at Moonies Club on Twitter and Moonies_club on Instagram. Thanks for listening.